Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm grateful to have you guys here. Again, want to give a shout out to all the followers, the subscribers, as well as all the guys in the Minute Now community. It's been real awesome and an amazing experience. Also, shout out to Red One Studios. It's been great working with these guys, and been a fantastic space. So yeah, greatly appreciate everything that. The collective has been doing on all fronts. So it is really humbling, and I always want to give proper appreciation. And again, if anything that I'm saying can just again impact somebody else's, even one person's life, just for the better, I'm all for it. That's what keeps me in it. That's why I've been around in this space for a while. So the biggest thing that we're going to face and challenge that we're going to face in this life is probably going to be the subject of failure, and that's really what I want to talk about and kind of focus on today. Because when we are at like our lowest points and we've seen our greatest failures, that's also where our greatest learnings come from. And it's a really unfortunate but also essential part of the entire learning process, and especially the self-development and self-actualization process. Whether it's failures in relationships, whether it's failures in your business life, whether it's even failures at a simple task, right? Like trying to tie your shoe, right? Failure can always be frustrating and maddening, but it's always important how we process failure and we learn from it in order to use it as fuel to really move forward. And so, a lot of times people will ask me and talk to me like, "Hey, I just had this massive failure. I really blew it. Like, where do I really go from here?" Because again, some failures, right, the consequences are a lot more catastrophic than others, right? Some it's like, all right, cool, I kind of failed here, but all right, it's more of a bump in the road. And then other times it's more like, no, I failed because I drove the car off the road, blew all four tires, and just crashed it into a tree. Like, really reset the entire meter, right? Just completely zeroed yourself out. And so what really is important is one, yeah, it's a very important to just have your allot yourself a little bit of time, right? Whether it's 30 minutes, an hour, maybe a day, maybe at most like a couple of days, to really just kind of work through the natural feelings of processing, like, all right, like, what, I screwed up, messed up, failed, like I just feel terrible. Like, again, trying to like stuff it down, be like, no, everything's totally fine and it's okay. Like, it catches up with you. It's a natural feeling, like, let it process out. But again, give yourself a lot of period of time to be like, okay, I let it process. Okay, now let me really debrief from this and let me move on. And again, it's extremely important to debrief on it, because oftentimes, and I've learned this the hard way personally, like you'll fail consistently at the same thing over and over and over again until you really learn the lesson from that, and then realize like, okay, I got to do something very different in order to avoid getting the same result. Or other times it's just, hey, there is a very specific route to take. And so, there might be seven routes, but six of them just don't work, right? And you just discover through trial and error, right? These six didn't work. Here's the one that actually works, right? So again, it's always important to again allot yourself the natural time it takes in order to really filter out and just process those bits of feelings. Because oftentimes when we have them and we just try to suppress them or push them down, suppressing doesn't mean that they just go away. It just means that, oh no, it just is stored there and builds a much more powerful and potent static charge. So that way, when it eventually discharges, it hits you a lot harder, right? And oftentimes, the failures that hit us the most are usually because we haven't fully processed like other failures before. So now it just all adds up, and it's just like, well, you know what? Now I'm just really super down in the dumps. So again, let that natural kind of process filter out for yourself. So again, you can kind of disperse that energy and really move on with clarity. But then also too, it's really extremely important to again do a debrief and assessment of like, all right, something failed here. What went wrong, or what multiple things went wrong, right? And often when you're doing that, just very again pragmatic, detached, very like, you want to stay like even keel with your emotions, right? Because again, if your emotions are running all over the place, you're going to view things through a very warped lens. But if you can be very objective and take a look and say, okay, this and this and this happened, maybe this went wrong here, which led to this going wrong over here, which basically brought the whole thing down. Then you can pinpoint exactly the root cause of things and understand like what the real lesson or the learning bit is in there, right? So that's really the core of how you want to learn with and deal with and manage failure. But also, the other thing to understand is when it comes to failure, everybody does it. We've all failed at something, a multitude of different things. Show me one person that's super successful, and I'll show you, 20 failures behind the scenes that got them to where they are. Because again, you are not going to just wake up and, oh my gosh, everything you do is absolutely going to be 100% a complete win, right? As much as you like to think it, and hey, there's nothing wrong with carrying yourself with that attitude, right? Because again, you had to have the confidence in order to really carry yourself over the finish line in a lot of cases. But again, when it comes to failure, you don't necessarily take it too personally, and also don't hold or beat yourself up like too much for not knowing what you currently know now, right? It's always very easy to be like, oh yeah, like I should have known like at the time this, and this. But more often than not, we're operating with the best available information that we have, right, at our time. And so usually we're at the time, hey, this is, I think, the best decision, or the best course, or the best route to take. I'm going to go take it. And then boom, it doesn't work out. But sometimes we want to be a little too overly critical of ourselves and look back and go, oh yeah, I just should have known. It's like, well, how can you magically know like what the right pathway is if again, like you have no frame of reference, or you don't have the knowledge of like, oh, this was clearly like the wrong way. Right. So don't beat yourself up too much about that. And then the other thing that will really help you navigate that space, trust your gut is going to be there, and it's going to tell you a lot of different things. And oftentimes we do actually wind up like failing when we don't really listen to our gut, and we think like our gut's saying like, hey, we shouldn't go about it this way, or hey, this is not the best decision, or hey, we should do this other thing. And you're like, nah, I'm going to ignore it and I'm going to go down this route, right? So again, your gut is kind of there to be kind of that first sort of stop, that first bit of sanity check. So again, learn to lean into it, learn to rely on it, and that will definitely help you in a lot of situation scenarios. But then also understand like too, like what's within your control and like what's not within your control, right? Like again, if you just got your real estate license like towards the end of 2007, and you're like, all right, I'm out and I'm going to make a great career in real estate, and then suddenly, right, you get hit in the 2008 financial housing crisis. It's like, all right, well, understand like those were forces greater than you. So yeah, there are certain times where it's just like, all right, cool. You can't fight the tide. You just got to know, all right, it just wasn't the right timing, or there were forces greater than me that just really contributed to this. So, okay, hey, it is what it is. But, if you take that personal and be like, oh my gosh, the global economic collapse, is all because like I didn't know how to, close the house because I didn't have the right type of cookies. Well, then, hey, man, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you're really reading way too far into things. So it's always, again, best to be more pragmatic, take a step back, be objective, but also, again, understand and delineate between what you actually had control over that contributed to things, and then what you didn't have control over. And again, really, you want to debrief and extrapolate what the learning is from that failure. And again, regardless if it's failures in relationships, if it's failures in your career, if it's failures at entrepreneurial adventures, whatever it is, whatever it may be, it's at a very, very essential part of the process. And the real best part about failure is because when you have a string of failures and then you do get that win or that success, now you know what the true value of that success really is. You really, really know and understand and have a full, thorough appreciation, and you value what it really means to get to that objective or get to the top of the hill, because you know just how rare it can be and how easy it can all go awry, right? And how hard and difficult and how much work and effort it took to really get to that, get to that point. So, that's really what, to me, I look at failure as a bit of a blessing in disguise, because again, it's a great learning opportunity, but it also, again, gives me a profound sense of appreciation and value for all the successes that I have, and just makes them like a little bit that much more special. So again, a great way to also deal with failure is, again, objectively breaking it down, looking at, but again, having other people that you really trust and a team around you that can weigh in on it. So that way, again, you can get multiple viewpoints and kind of see beyond what it is that just you see in your perspective. Because again, a lot of times other people are going to see things that you can't see. So again, if you're interested in extrapolating a lot more about that or leveling up, then we have a fantastic community that we put together called the Men of Now community. It's me and 3 other coaches. We are the core founding members, but we have grown the group quite a bit, and we've got exciting developments in there continuously, which has been really great to see. But it's really just a member-led community, and we're really, really proud of the guys in there really stepping up and really leveling up. And again, it's other guys helping each other level up. And again, we all are in there documenting our failures as well, so we can all learn from each other and again get other perspective and insight. And again, us coaches too, right? Again, we're in there, we're helping and we're guiding, but again, we also learn a lot from the other members of the community. So we aren't on like some magical pedestal where it's like, okay, we're infallible. It's like, hey, no, like we have our struggles and our hurdles just as much as everybody else does. So it's been a really, really awesome, fantastic place where again a lot of really good learning has taken place, and a lot of guys have really made major steps and strides on their pathway to leveling up. And again, it's a monthly subscription. So check out the link. Real low monthly price point. And again, be in there as long as you need, as long as you like, and we encourage you to check it out and come grow with us. So yeah, that being said, you can follow me on IG. You can always check out my website. If you ever want to do a one-on-one session with me, feel free to reach out and DM me on IG, or shoot me an email, reach out through my website. I'm really accessible, really easy, and available for you guys. So again, always appreciate all the support that you guys have given and provided for me over all this time. So just again, want to take a humble moment to say thank you for tuning in into the channel, and very much look forward to seeing you guys again soon.